So I'm here with Renny Harlin, director of Strangers Chapter 2. I guess I'll start off with one thing since you're doing Strangers Chapter 1, 2, and 3 back to back. Does that make it more or less stressful upon release of them? Because on one hand, it's like, cool, we got all three of the movies done. They're done, and then we release them when we release them. On the other hand, it's like, oh, if this doesn't work, we're kind of screwed.
Yeah, that's a good question. First of all, the only reason I signed up to do this was because the whole idea of exploring these characters for 4.5 hours and chopping it up to three chapters, to do a straight remake would have not interested me. And kind of, to be honest, the frustrating part was having to live with the first chapter and having people say like, "Oh, it's just a remake. What's that?" And waiting for the second one to come out and be able to say, "Yes, we had to do the first one to set up the scenario, which is what if Liv Tyler's character died?" We couldn't do it with Liv Tyler because it's 16 years later, so we had to start from the beginning. But we loved the original, and we wanted to give ourselves and the audience a chance to explore where could that all go, and this is our take on it. And it was great to shoot three movies all together. It's great to put them all together and edit them and all that. But yes, you're right. It's been a challenging time to wait for them to come out. And originally we expected the second chapter to come out sooner, and there were a couple of factors that delayed it. Which one was that the first one was a success, which was of course great for us and the studio. But the studio said, like, okay, was there something else you would have done if you had more money and time? And we're like, yeah. So we were given some more money and some more time, and we did some additional shooting for it because we wanted to expand it more. We wanted to explore the strangers a little more. And so we did that, and writing that and shooting that and editing that took time. So that pushed us back. And then the studio just wanted to find the best release date when they believed that it would be the right time for the movie to come out. So here we are now, finally, I don't know, couple of weeks, little over a couple of weeks from the release. And it's exciting and it's nerve-wracking. I would be lying if I didn't say so, because like we hope that the fans and the moviegoers have the patience to go and see the second one and trust that we are taking them somewhere else and showing them something original, let alone what's going to happen with the third one, which is going to go completely bonkers. So it's a privilege, but it's a emotional challenge.
Well, I guess on the other side of that coin, though, you do have the second one coming out, so the stress is probably turned into excitement with the third one. It's like, ooh, we got the second one, we're gonna do it. I cannot wait for you guys to see what we got in store for the third.
Absolutely, absolutely. And if the second one works, then I'm not worried about the third one, because I know we have the goods. I know people will be absolutely blown away when they see the third one.
Yeah, and you've done, Jesus, I mean, look up Renny Harlin on IMDb. You've done a ton of things. What's when you get a project coming to you? What's the thing that you look at, kind of the special sauce, so to speak, that you look at and go, I totally want to do this, or I think I'm going to pass on this one.
I think that it's a couple of things. One is, of course, do I have characters that I find interesting and that I can explore and that I can believe that the audience will relate to? And then the world building. I always want to be able to explore an interesting world, whatever that environment may be. I've shot movies in morgues, and I've shot movies in the mountains, and I've shot movies underwater. And it has to be an environment that I find interesting to explore. And with The Strangers, it was that it starts as a home invasion movie and then kind of expands into a town invasion movie and then goes even further. Those are the couple of things I would say: characters and the world. And of course, then, the story is right there with those elements.
Yeah. And also with the Strangers, just I'm assuming you shot all three of these at the same time, since
Yeah.
the part you said you got to do some reshoots. What was some of the joys of this? Like,
Oh,
making movies got to be fun, I imagine, and you've
I
been doing it forever, so
I love making movies. That's when I'm happiest. When I'm on the set, I'm alive. And of course, making three movies at the same time has its challenges, especially when you're shooting things out of order, and you may be shooting in the morning episode 2 and in the afternoon episode 1, and next morning chapter, I should say, chapter 3. So there's a lot to just keep track of, whether it's the emotional state of the actor or the makeup and the gore on the actors, or how you're shooting it and lighting it and what the tempo of the scenes are. So I had all kinds of charts and maps that I kept with me to be able to always know where I am. At the same time, it's kind of like being in the biggest toy store ever, because 4.5 hour exploration of this story and these characters is something that just doesn't ever happen. You're always restricted to that more or less 100-page script, and that's all you have. And you have to be able to, create the character arcs and the story within that framework. And now it's much larger, so it was a great opportunity.
So also having done this for a long time, anytime someone does something for a long time, they gain experience, develop tools along the way. What's something that Renny Harlin today can do, making a movie that Renny Harlin way, way back in the day probably didn't have the tools to realize?
Wow, that's a good question. That's a really good question, because in a way, when you're starting out, you're full of ideas and full of innovation, and like, I never want to lose that sense of exploring and feeling like it's the first time. But at the same time, you kind of learn like what things work and what things don't work so well, and what things take more time, and how to solve certain situations. So I think that my time management is better than in the beginning. I know what's possible to do, and like, if I have to achieve something, how to do it in the given time and still get everything I need. And I think that I'm much more confident and comfortable working with actors than I was in the beginning. I think that I was, believe it or not, I feel like I was a little bit shy and maybe insecure, and it wasn't as easy for me to communicate with the actors. And I feel like that's where I've grown most. That I've always loved working with actors, but even more than ever before, I love working with actors and exploring the characters with them, and being able to just say very openly and directly to them what I think, and that way trying to get the best results.
All right. Well, Strangers Chapter 2 will be available in theaters September 26th. And I guess we'll just end on this. I just want to get a movie recommendation from you, either a movie that's personal to you or a movie that's like, that one's really good and not enough people talk about it.
I'll go way back in history, since we are talking horror movies here. There's a old 70s horror movie called Don't Look Now, directed by Nicholas Roeg, starring Donald Sutherland and Julie Christie. And it's a movie that I think a lot of the generation of movie fans or horror fans don't necessarily know that movie, but that would be a movie that I would say, like, anybody who likes to watch something very atmospheric and scary, you should check it out.
Yeah, that's a great pick. Love that movie. Renny, thanks for joining me, and congratulations on the Strangers, and look forward to see the Chapter 3 come out.
Thanks, Eric. Appreciate it.